Hello, my little pretties. It's your mistress, the Queen of Lions here, and today we are back with episode 10 of Shadows and Pretties. Now, the last episode I talked about a Disney princess named Jasmine, or AKA, I talked about the Aladdin story, the remake and the original. And today I'm going to go ahead and review another movie. And you guys might have remembered seeing this, as a kid, even though this came out around 1989. For those who have been a kid around the early 90s or even mid 90s in the 90s in general, you probably have remembered seeing this Disney movie, and that is called The Little Mermaid. Now today this is about Ariel's story. I will be diving in mainly into, the dark origins of it, and even, not really too much of the dark origins one, but I will explain about what's different. I will be also explaining, the Disney movie. I will explain a little bit about the sequel, Little Mermaid 2: Return to the Sea, because that one is a great sequel to me in my opinion. And I will also talk about a little bit about this one other movie. I'm not going to go too crazy into it, but it's, Ariel's beginning, which in my opinion is garbage. I'll probably make another video talking about why that movie is garbage, maybe do a garbage review on it, but anyways, let's begin. Now, The Little Mermaids eventually is one of Disney's 28th animated feature film, the first film in the Little Mermaid trilogy. Of course, the second one, however, came out in 2000, but this movie right here is loosely based on the 1837 Danish fairy tale of the same name named Hans Christian Andersen. Of course, he did, the film basically tells a story about a mermaid named Ariel, who dreams of becoming a human and falls in love with a human prince named Eric, which of course leads her into a magical sea with the evil witch to become human to be with him. Now, of course, that's basically what the film is. Now, I could definitely say right now that I have not seen this movie in a very long time. I've seen this when I was a kid, but I haven't seen it in so long. And it's a really good movie, which I can definitely say. So basically, the story is basically involving a princess named Ariel, who is a mermaid who lives underwater with the kingdom of Atlantica. Now, a fantasy kingdom near the coast of Norway in the Atlantic Ocean, she is fascinated by the human world. However, her best friend named Flounder, Ariel collects human artifacts and basically visits Scuttle, who is a seagull, and of course he is an accurate knowledge of the human culture. So basically, King Triton, her father, does not want, Ariel to be, anywhere near the humans. But of course, she ignores King Triton, and then Sebastian, who is a crab that serves as Triton's advisor. And of course, what happens is that Ariel, one night with Flounder, is unwillingly Sebastian travels to the ocean's surface to watch the celebration of Prince Eric's birthday on a ship. So that's basically how Ariel falls in love with Eric. Now, just to let you know, I'm just refreshing the first movie. So those of you who haven't seen the movie in a long time could actually, remember, seeing this movie. And for those who haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend you do check it out because it's an awesome movie. And I'm going to guarantee you right now, you're not going to be disappointed. Of course, that night, a violent storm arrives, wrecking the ship. And of course, Ariel saves Eric and brings him back to shore, so she sings to him, but of course she leaves just as he regains consciousness to avoid being discovered. Fascinated by the memory of her voice, Eric vows to find the girl who saved him and sang to him. So of course Ariel vows to find a way to join him into the world. Noticing the change of Ariel's behavior, Triton questions Sebastian and learns for her love for Eric. So of course Triton confronts Ariel and destroys her collection of artifacts. So basically, Triton got really mad with Ariel over, going to the human world. Because to him, he kind of thinks that humans are bad. Which, if FYI, the humans are not bad at all. Now, you could probably kind of tell, some movies, I think some Disney movies have done this plot, like saying, let's take Tarzan, for example. When Tarzan was a young boy and when he was raised to be a grown man, Kerchak does not want, Tarzan to be anywhere near the humans because he thinks humans are dangerous. Well, Clayton was the dangerous one and not Jane or Professor Porter. So if you want to watch that podcast episode of Shadows and Pretties where I talk about Tarzan, I do have a playlist of the Shadows and Pretties podcast. If you guys want to, take a look at it, feel free to. So, of course, Triton leaves, and two eels named Flotsam and Jetsam convinces Ariel to visit Ursula the Sea Witch. Now, Ursula is the villain in this movie, for those who don't know. So, Ursula makes a deal with Ariel to transform her into a human for 3 days in exchange for Ariel's voice, which Ursula puts in a Navia's shell within the 3 days, and Ariel must receive the kiss from the true love from Eric. And if Eric gets to kiss her, she will remain human permanently. Otherwise, she'll transform back into a mermaid along with Ursula. Of course, Ariel accepts as she was given the human legs and taken to the surface by Flounder and Sebastian. So Eric finds Ariel on the beach and takes her to the castle. Unaware that she is the one who had rescued him earlier, Ariel spends time with Eric at the end of the second day. They almost kiss, but it's, of course, with Flotsam and Jetsam. Ursula then disguises herself as a beautiful young woman named Vanessa and appears on shore singing with Ariel's voice. So Eric recognizes the song and her disguise, so Ursula then casts an enchantment on Eric to make him forget about Ariel. So the next day, Ariel discovers that Eric will be married to Vanessa. Scuttle discovers Vanessa's true identity, which, of course, it's Ursula trying to trick Eric. Sorry, I almost said Derek. And informs Ariel, who immediately pursues the wedding in the barge. Of course, Sebastian informs Triton, and Scuttle disrupts the wedding in chaos. And, of course, So the shell around Ursula's neck is destroyed, restoring Ariel's voice and breaking Ursula's enchantment over Eric. Realizing that Ariel was the girl who saved his life, Eric rushes to kiss her, but the sun sets and Ariel transforms back into a mermaid. Then Ursula kidnaps Ariel, and of course Triton confronts Ursula to demand Ariel's release, but of course is not happening. So at Ursula's urging, Triton agrees to take Ariel's place as Ursula's prisoner, given up as the Triton. Ariel is then released as the Triton transforms into a Lopop, which of course, a Polyp, which is and loses the authority over Atlantic. So Ursula declares herself the new ruler, but before she could use the Triton, Eric intervenes with a harpoon, and Ursula attempts to kill Eric, but of course Ariel intervenes in causing Ursula to eventually kill Flotsam and Jetsam. In range, Ursula uses the Triton to grow into a monstrous size. So meanwhile, during the fight, Eric and Ariel reunite on the surface, and before Ursula grows past towers over them, she then creates a storm and then brings the sunken ships to the surface. Just as Ursula was about to kill Ariel, Eric steers up a wrecked ship and towards Ursula, impaling her with the bowsprit, killing her. With Ursula dead, Triton was now free, and Ursula's garden had reverted into their original forms. Realizing that Ariel truly loves Eric, Triton willingly changes her from mermaid to human permanently and approves of their marriage. So Eric and Ariel then marry on a ship and depart. Now, that's actually a really good movie. Now, I just watched this movie probably a year or so ago for the first time in like a long time. This was originally being one of Walt Disney's earliest feature films, was proposed in the package film featuring vintages from Hans Christian Andersen tales. The development starts soon after Snow and the Seven Dwarfs were done in the late 1930s. But of course it was delayed because they want to make some other movies and stuff like that. So around the late 1980s, they originally, made it animated, and they had to do some more stuff and basically did that. Now, there is a Broadway performance based on this story, so it's actually a really good story. And I do believe they are going to, I did hear rumors saying they're going to make like a live action remake of this movie. I don't know if that's even true, but that could be possible. But there is an animated series of The Little Mermaid that is a prequel based on the film. Of course, it was around 1992 when it ran, and of course it ran for 31 episodes. Eventually, we have a direct-to-video sequel called Little Mermaid 2: Return to the Sea. Now, this one came out in 2000, and I have to say this one was a really good movie. Just like the first movie had, a lot of great concept and stuff like that. Now, The Little Mermaid 2: Return to the Sea, this is mainly focusing on Eric and Eric and Ariel's daughter named Melanie. And of course, by the way, Melanie is played by Tara Strong, who, well, her name was Tara Chandercroft or something, but I think she got married, at the time, and they changed it to Tara Strong or something. I don't know. But anyway, of course, Eric and Ariel were celebrating the birth of their newborn baby named Melody at the ship, with all the Merfolk and Atlantic presents. Of course, Ariel loves Melody so much it will always belong with her in the sea. So, of course, Ariel's father, King Triton, presents Melody a magical locket with her name on it. Of course, the party has been interrupted by Ursula's younger sister named Morgana, which, of course, she's kind of like Ursula, except she's a little different in this sort of way. And of course, who threatens to have Melody fed to her pet tiger shark named Undertow. Unless Triton surrenders his trident to her, then Morgana announced her plan to Triton to get revenge on Ursula to take over the ocean. Of course, just like Ariel and Eric work together to foil Morgana's plan, and of course, as Triton sinks the overtone to the size of a piranha, Morgana escapes, and of course, hers basically leaves. So, of course, this movie takes place 12 years later, where Melanie was unaware of her mother's mermaid heritage is forbidden from going to the sea. So the sequel is kind of like the first movie. Like, it mainly, focuses on, preventing, they don't want Melody to go see what the ocean world is like. While meanwhile, the movie is kind of like the first one, except it's a little different, because this is mainly focusing on Melanie and stuff like that. So, Melanie basically had a hard time fitting in with the other children at her age, and of course she thinks it's strange for her to talk to a fish. So, of course, basically what happens is that, Melody steals a small boat, and she eventually sails away from home, and of course she's discovered by Undertow, who leads her straight to Morgana. So, of course, when Melody visits Morgana, they tell her that they can use the spell was only temporarily, that she can make a small permanent if Melody receives the train from her grandfather, which Morgana claims that he stole from her. Melody can decides to get the Triton. But of course, during the ship, of course, she beds friends with a person named Tip and Dash, a penguin and the walrus, who joins her. So, kind of like the first one, when Ariel wants to be human, she has to be, if she can get a kiss from like Eric, she'll still, be human forever in that. So, just like the first movie, it's quite similarities and stuff like that. I'm not saying that this is like a ripoff of the first one, but it used some similarities. So meanwhile, of course, Ariel was transformed back into the mermaid so she can help search Melody, which of course, meanwhile, we see more in the film. And of course, we see right here is that, of course, Melody steals the Triton to return to Morgana, but before Melody can hand the Triton over to Morgana, Ariel arrives and pleads Melody not to give Morgana the Triton. However, Melody refuses to listen to Ariel and has been angered by Ariel's decision to lie to her, gives Morgana the Triton, and the power of it happens. So basically what happens is that the mermaid is about to expire, so Morgana uses the Trident magic to lord over the ocean, but of course later on Morgana's spell on Melody wears off, causing her to revert to human, and of course she almost drowns in there. Tip and Dash defeat Undertow by having him smash through the layer of ice covering the entrance. So of course Melody gets saved, and meanwhile they drag her to shore to save her. Of course, Melody managed to get the hold of Triton to throw it back to Triton, who encases Morgana to be in a block of ice, which of course she sinks underwater along with the picture of Ursula. So of course, Melody reunites with her family, and Eric and Ariel apologize for Melody for not telling her the truth years earlier, and Triton offers his granddaughter the choice of becoming a mermaid permanently instead. So, well, that is actually a pretty good story. Like, I actually love the sequel to this. It does have a couple flaws, though. Like, it kind of is similar to, like, the first Little Mermaid, except it's a little different. But here's the thing. I actually find this movie to be really well done and stuff. But the thing that I can definitely say that I really don't know what to say really, but it kind of is the same as the first movie. But don't get me wrong, like I like the first movie and the second movie was pretty good too. But of course, there is a reason why I really, don't really care too much. But here's one thing I can definitely say. The next movie I'm not gonna get too much into detail, but of course it was Little Mermaid Ariel's beginning. Oh my god, people. That movie, I'm gonna say right now, it's garbage. Because it only takes place, about, what happened with Ariel and her family, back before the events of the first Little Mermaid movie, Going to be completely honest right now is that I'm not going to go too much into detail, but basically Queen Athena and King Triton ruled under the underwater kingdom. Of course, Ariel was like the youngest daughter of everyone. So, of course, Athena gets killed by the ship when she tries to recover the music box. Of course, Triton becomes devastated over his wife's death and throws the music box away. So, of course, Ariel lives underwater for strict routine and stuff like that. So, I don't know what it is, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not going too much into, like, the third movie because I don't really like that movie. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of not really that great, to be completely and utterly honest. Alright, I guess maybe that's enough of, the movies and that. I'm gonna talk about the Little Mermaid story, like not like now we're gonna talk about the dark origins of the movie. Oh boy, it is very, very messed up. I'm gonna be completely honest. The one by Hans Christian Andersen. It is a very messed up story, and I can definitely say right now. So basically, Lee, what happens in the movie is that, Little Mermaids become mephonic and asks if humans can live forever. But of course, Ariel's grandmother says that humans have such a shorter lifespan than mermaids of 300 years. But on top of that, when mermaids die, they turn to the sea foam to cease to exist. So, of course, what happens is that, well, I'm going to say Ariel because, it's the Little Mermaid character. So basically Ariel, goes to a sea witch who lives in the dangerous part of the ocean, who asks if she can go up to the human world and, marries the guy that she loves. So basically the witch gives her a potion to give her a pair of human legs in exchange for her tongue and beautiful voice. So basically Ariel's tongue gets cut off. It's really messed up. I'm surprised that didn't make it into the Disney film. Like, I'm really surprised. I know Disney would get a lot of backlash for it if they were to do that. So basically, the prince and the princess celebrate their own marriage on the wedding ship, and of course, when Ariel's heart breaks, she thinks that it means she sacrificed all the pain when she despairs. And of course, what happens is that, after Ariel does not get the kiss from, Eric, she then transforms into bubbles, and, and that's just basically it, Not going too much into the dark origins of the Little Mermaid, but it's really messed up when you come to think of it. Like, I like the Disney movie, but I think the sequel did pretty good as well. I do not like Ariel's beginning. It's fine if you guys like it. Like, that's fine. That's your choice. But the dark origin story of Little Mermaid is really messed up. Like, I'm going to be completely honest. It's really messed up in the own manner of way. But here's the thing. If you guys are a Disney fanatic, I really highly recommend you check out this movie if you haven't. It's a really, really, really good movie. There's definitely a lot of time and effort into the movie, which is really good when Disney was coming up with this idea. Now, I can definitely say, right here, right now, is that if Disney were to incorporate, Ariel's tongue getting cut off and all that, I could really tell that, they would have got a lot of backlash for it. They would have got, probably sued or something. I don't know. But anyways, I'm going to wrap up the podcast episode because, this is as long as it is. But anyways, that was The Little Mermaid. Now, what did you think of the movies and the dark story I told you guys? You all enjoy them, did you not? Also, what we have done to make them better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comments section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. I want to thank you so much for watching today's episode of Shadows and Pretties. If you're brand new here to this channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload so you guys won't miss an upload. And I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Peace out.